Welcome everyone to this CELPIP Speaking Part 4, Making Predictions Analysis. Now, I'm just here in the Speaking Part 4 section of the CELPIP library. And before we get started, I do want to remind you that Part 4 focuses more on CLB 4 to 6. What does that mean? Well, it means that if you need to get CLB 4, 5, or 6, then you need to do well in this part because this part will be easier for lower levels to speak about, okay? For example, the pictures are usually something familiar, common situations, and also the vocabulary and the language that you can use doesn't have to be so difficult, okay? And so it will be easier for you to speak for part 4. Now, if you need to get CLB 7 or higher, well, this part will not affect whether you get 7 or higher so much as part 1, 6, or 7. Those parts you can really show your knowledge. But in part 4, because it's an easier question, then higher levels should speak easily about it. And they can usually speak level 7 or higher easily for part 4. Okay? All right. And I also want to remind you about this tips and strategies video. This video will give you some more details about what tips and strategies you can use to answer part 4 more effectively. How to read the question, what to focus on, and what structure you can use. And actually, that video will explain more clearly some of the tips and strategies that I will use, okay? So I will leave a link in the description box to that video, okay? So then, let's look at today's example, busy park. So everyone, this will be a CLB 7-9 example, okay? Now, when we look at that here, we do have 4 sections in this sample lesson, okay? The video analysis, which we're watching right now. Vocabulary building, very good for lower levels to improve their vocabulary, okay? And you'll show the picture here. We'll have some words. And then complete the sentence, okay? And that will really help you with vocabulary and expression. Very good exercise. And also we have grammar building, okay? Lower levels. Very important for part 4 will be will. Will is very important, okay? And also, we have some grammar exercises here that you can do by completing each sentence. So great practice for you. Okay, and then we'll get to today's question practice, okay? Now, about some of the tips and strategies that I will be focusing on the most for speaking part 4. The first one, everyone, is about using future tense. It's very important. Part 4 is making predictions. So for that, we need to use future tense, okay? And, well, simple future is will, I will do something, or going to, I'm going to do something. And you can use both of these for part 4 speaking, okay? Just going to is always stronger, and will is more about predictions, okay? But you can use both. Also, if you can, higher levels, we can use may or might. It might happen tomorrow. It may happen, or it could happen. So that's something that higher levels could do. Also, we are going to be looking at organizing our answer. Okay. We want to avoid repeating ideas. We want to sequence ideas. Okay. And very important, we want to give a complete answer in 1 minute. And we are going to be focusing on that. And then for organizing our response, okay, I find this is a really good one. Okay. We have here a way to start. Okay. And then at least 3 ideas. That would be good. But always it's very good if you can connect ideas, everyone. Connecting ideas in the picture, that works really well. I'm going to explain that in the analysis. Okay? All right. And we should always think of ideas which are common to the situation. Something that is common, not something that just won't happen. Okay? Very good. So let's get started with today's analysis. Here we are in our question. Preparation time 30 seconds. Speaking time 1 minute. Okay? All right. And so, everyone, I do want to remind you that now, part 4, as we've already said, it's not really a question that can guarantee you a 7, but there are some things we need to make sure. One is that you can't speak poorly in this question, because if you speak poorly, then you're not going to get 7 or higher. Because this question, you should get 7 or higher very easily. And one thing to note for sure about that is grammar. 7 or higher cannot make any simple grammar mistakes, especially with will or going to. Okay, that's a very low level concept. And higher levels don't make simple grammar errors. Keep that in mind. Now, the other thing is higher levels use higher level language, and a good way to do that in grammar terms would be to use modals of possibility, may, might, and could. And I'm going to try and use some of that to show that, okay? As well, we need to make sure that we provide a complete response, very well organized response, to make sure that we get our, well, definitely 9 should do this. 7 to 8's not so much, okay? But still, organization is good for both higher levels. So I'm going to be using this structure here to organize. All right. So then let's get started with our introduction, okay? Just a general introduction I'm going to use, not something very strong, okay? Just, I think several interesting situations will happen in the next while. There are many other ones that you can use. I like to keep it simple, okay? And focus on my ideas. And that's where I'm going to be trying to focus my higher level language. So what is my first idea here? Okay. All right, let's see. Firstly, maybe the man swimming in the lake will suddenly start yelling for help because he can't swim well and is stuck. Okay. So we're looking at this man here. Maybe. Okay, maybe. It's just an idea. Everyone, we need to try to keep our ideas realistic. We can't say, for example, that an alien is suddenly will come flying down. We can't say that because it's not likely. We need to try to say ideas that are likely or that can happen. Maybe this man swimming, what we said here, maybe he'll start yelling because he's stuck. Maybe something is in the water or he got some seaweeds or something. So he'll start yelling for help. This happens at the park sometimes. Okay. And so what? We need to expand that idea. So the police officer will jump in the lake and rescue him. You see, here's a police officer right here. He'll jump in the lake and rescue him. That's likely because that's what police officers do. So that's a very good idea. So notice how we're expanding the idea. Higher levels, we need to expand ideas, not give simple basic ideas. Okay? Right? And then what? Then after the dust settles, oh, good expression. The dust settles. That expression means there was some kind of negative situation or something. So the man was stuck. He's like, oh my God, I was stuck. The police officer jumped in and it was a situation. But then after the dust settles, means everything is good. Everything is good. They might suggest putting a danger sign to the city parks office. Okay, so the man got stuck. The police officer jumped in to rescue him. Then after the dust settles, everything is done. The situation is over, everything's good. Then they might suggest putting a danger sign to the city parks official because maybe there was something in there. So they might put a danger sign. I do see a danger sign over here, no something. I think it says no diving. Okay, so there you go. Very good idea. So let's look at that idea just to be clear on why it's higher level. And actually, I think it's for sure even 9 or higher. Now, the first thing is that we are expanding one idea. Lower levels, they want to do this. The man will stop swimming. The police officer will go help the robot. This man here will finish his reading. The woman will go sit down. The man will go away. The children will stop. The lower levels, they want to say basic, simple ideas. Okay? Higher levels, we don't do that. Higher levels, we pick something, whatever it may be, and we expand it into a prediction, something strong. Okay? That's what this is here. This is one connected idea. The man will call for help. The police officer in here will jump in and rescue him. Then they'll think about putting up a sign. It's all connected. This is what higher levels should do. They don't give simple one-liners, they're called one-liners, one-line answers or ideas. That's for lower levels, okay? In general, for all questions, but specifically for this one. So if you can expand the idea, like we did here, that's higher level, okay? Now, the second thing is that we did use some good language. I will make, well, for sure, will and can't, that's low level. But here's an example of using higher level grammar. Might suggest putting. Okay? We used might. And that is higher level prediction. Okay? And we also used some good vocab, especially the dust settles. After the dust settles, there's an expression. Very good usage there. And also the idea itself got stuck, a danger sign to the city parks office. Most cities have a parks and recreation office, okay? Well, at least we do here in Edmonton. Edmonton Parks and Recreation. Okay, all right. So there you go. Very good sequencing as well, okay? And I'm going to try to do that for 3 ideas. Let's get to the second idea here. Okay. Secondly, perhaps the senior woman carrying presents will go over to the crying baby and give her a lollipop. Also, everyone, please note how the ideas are being expressed. The senior woman carrying presents, or how the people or the subjects are being expressed. The senior woman carrying presents, right over here. The senior woman carrying presents will go over to the crying baby, okay, and give her a lollipop. Very good. A lollipop. Here you go, crying baby. So what'll happen? So we're expanding. We're expanding this idea. So the baby will stop crying and start giggling with joy because, well, they got the lollipop. Very good idea. The baby will stop crying and start giggling. Good connection. We're not done expanding. Continue. Then the mother might give $20 to the lady, but the lady will politely refuse the money. Okay. This can happen, right? The lady went over, oh, thank you so much. Here's here's $20 for your help. Okay, well, the lady say, oh, no, I don't want any money. No, thank you. Politely refuse. Okay. Again, we've done something similar to the first idea. Okay. We chose something to speak about. Okay. We expanded it and then we connected it even more. Okay. And we used future continuous. We'll stop crying, start giggling. That's a good one. Future continuous as well. And might, we use modal possibility. And I really like that we use an adverb here. We'll politely refuse. Okay. Higher levels know how to use adverbs effectively when they speak. It's very good use. So another very good idea. Okay. I like what we've done so far. Okay. And then let's get to one more idea. Lastly, I think the people relaxing and having a picnic. Okay, there you go. The people relaxing and having a picnic. Over here. Again, how we are expressing the subject. Strong. Okay. We'll ask the robot for some ice cream. Okay, here's the robot. You see, we're making the connection. But the robot will respond that it only provides ice cream to children. Okay, maybe it's some mascot in the park today, only giving ice cream to children. Okay, so what will happen? Let's expand. So then the people may go to the nearby shops to buy refreshments or ice cream to quench their thirst. Very good. Very good connection. Okay. Again, we've done something similar to the other ideas. It's like we're telling a little story, but we're connecting from what we see in the picture. Okay, we saw the people having a picnic. They saw the robot with ice cream. They're going to go ask for some ice cream, but the robot will say he only gives ice cream to children. So then, oh, look, there's some shops by here, maybe some nearby shops. So they're going to go over there. Okay, to quench their thirst. Because it's a hot day, you see it's sunny here. Quench the thirst. Very good way to express thirsty. Okay, quench the thirst, get refreshed. Very good idea. And so we've developed 3 strong ideas, the way that a 7, 9, let's say here 9, okay? I'm going to say here, let me just be clear. This example is 9 plus in quality. The level 7 to 8, they might not do this. They might only do this. And just this here, just those 3 ideas like that, with making those connections and saying those ideas well, 7 to 8. Okay? And maybe using some might or may here, 7 to 8. All right. Because they're good ideas like this. But the level 9 or higher, we need to expand a little more. Okay? We need to expand a little more, use stronger language. That's what we do for 9 or higher. So this example, for sure it's 9 or higher because of the way that it's constructed. Okay? Very good organization and sequencing. That's first. We see here the connection between ideas are strong. And we've connected. We've made connections in this picture. Okay? So that's the first thing. The second thing is that we've used expression very well. We've expressed ideas in a very strong way. I really like this. After the dust settles because of that situation. Okay, very good, strong usage. I'm pointing out the ideas, of course, 3 strong, well-connected ideas. But then, of course, this is 9 or higher because of the language. Okay, we've used some stronger language that lower levels might not be able to use, like that expression, like might and may, like future continuous. Okay, strong language use. Okay, now it's not only about the ideas. Okay, let's not remember. Now, it's not only about the ideas, the language. Let's remember this is speaking. And that's why for speaking, we need to demonstrate our flow and intonation. Can we speak this quality of answer with strong flow, slowly and clearly? Well, flow slowly and continuously, or at a good pace, and intonation clearly with the right fluctuation in speech. Can we do that in 1 minute? Well, that's really what will guarantee your score more than language. Okay? We need to keep that in mind. For speaking, it's about strong language, but it's more about flow and intonation, which the 7s to 9s and definitely 9s or highers need to demonstrate. So for that, I'm going to be speaking this answer now in 1 minute with good flow and intonation for this level. So please follow along and please listen carefully to flow and intonation that I use, particularly my stress in certain parts of the answer, particularly when I change or start a new idea or finish an idea. Follow along, everyone, and let's speak this answer in 1 minute. I think several interesting situations will happen in the next while. Firstly, maybe the man swimming in the lake will suddenly start yelling for help because he can't swim well and is stuck. So the police officer will jump in the lake and rescue him. Then after the dust settles, they might suggest putting a danger sign to the city parks office. Secondly, perhaps the senior woman carrying presents will go over to the crying baby and give her a lollipop. So the baby will stop crying and start giggling with joy. Then the mother might give $20 to the lady, but the lady will politely refuse the money. Lastly, I think the people relaxing and having a picnic will ask the robot for some ice cream, but the robot will respond that it only provides ice cream to children. So then the people may go to the nearby shops to buy refreshments or ice cream to quench their thirst. Okay, well, I finished there in the 1 minute. Maybe I said some parts a little bit too quickly. I hope you were able to follow along. I was just trying to speak this answer in the way that we should try to express it for higher levels, okay? I was really trying to say some things with higher pitch and stress in different parts, like I did here, so the baby will stop crying and start giggling with joy, okay? So that's important, okay? Flow and intonation, I tried to illustrate that there at a higher level, and we can see that 1 minute was more than enough time for this answer, okay? So then, everyone, to practice, what can we do? Well, the first thing that we can do is read and understand. Yes, we need to read and understand this answer. We need to understand the organization and how it's constructed, how it's sequenced, okay? Now, of course, there are different ways to sequence and organize. Of course, there are many. And actually, if you can think, if you have anything else that you think is stronger, then good. The important part is organizing and sequencing. That's important because higher levels need to demonstrate control of their speaking. And we do that with organizing and sequencing. Secondly, read and understand the ideas. We need to read and understand how these ideas are expressed, okay? And by that I mean the senior woman carrying presents will go over to the crying baby like that, okay? And we need to understand that clearly, as well as the language used to express them. Future, okay? And future continuous over here. Why do we use future continuous, okay? And may and might, okay? We used it over here. We need to read and understand that as well. Okay, then we need to read and speak the answer. Okay, right. We need to read it and speak it in 1 minute to develop flow and intonation. Okay, the levels 7, 8, and 9s should be able to read and speak this answer in 1 minute with excellent flow and intonation. Okay, right? We need to make sure that we do. The more that we do it, the more that we will develop flow and intonation. So, then after that, well, the easiest part. Can you speak that answer in 1 minute without reading? Can you do that? Well, if you can, then you are this level. Definitely level 9s should be able to, after reading it for 3 or 4 times, the level of knowledge you have will show if you can say it. Because the level 9s should be able to say, maybe the man swimming in the lake will suddenly start yelling for help because he's stuck. So the police officer will jump in the lake and rescue him. Then, after the dust settles, they might suggest putting up a danger sign to the city parks office. You see, I said that there from my knowledge. Of course, I also had developed that idea already. That's what I'm trying to say. After you read it, you should be able to say, or the level 9s or higher should. 7 to 8s, you might not say it right away, but that's what you need to work on. Okay? You need to work on trying to say it from your knowledge, not memory. If you're struggling, that means you're trying to memorize. And I'm not saying the ideas from memory. I'm saying the ideas from my knowledge. Okay, so that's what you need to try and work on last. Try speaking the answer. Maybe you can't say it one time, then read it again, then say it. Okay? Without reading, that will really help you improve. So for that, everyone, okay, I will be leaving a link in the description box to this question. Yes. All right. And here we have our sample answer. There you go. So you can practice reading and speaking that answer and then speaking the answer on your own without reading. Okay? Also, everyone, let's not forget about our CELPIP library. Our CELPIP library has over 50 examples of speaking part 4, and these examples will really help you with building your speaking part 4 knowledge and skills. So I strongly recommend it. And because you've watched this video all the way till the end, with discount code CELPIP79, that's discount code CELPIP79, you can get a 3-month subscription of CELPIP Library for only $10.99. That's a great deal, everyone, and I strongly recommend it. So let's subscribe to the CELPIP Library, and let's remember, practice makes perfect.